The Fortnite storyline has officially restarted with a brand new island, villain, and the return of the Seven. All of this revolves around the Zero Shard, which is floating on our map, and it's attracted a lot of attention. But how did this shard get here? What happened to the actual Zero Point, and why is the Seven back on the island? Let's explain the Fortnite Chapter 7 storyline. We have to take things back to Chapter 3, when the last reality and Herald used Chrome to melt the entire island. That included most of the Seven, and we had almost no options. The Zero Point was about to fall into their hands, and our heroes were defeated. Only the Paradigm is left, and with the island destroyed, the Zero Point was unprotected, so she had one final idea up her sleeve. Using her knowledge, she began to do something named Zero Fusion, piecing together a brand new island from multiple realities and holding off the last reality. But this meant she risked her own life to save everyone and went missing without a trace. On the new island, the Zero Point, now encased in a ball of steel, became petrified. It was still suffering from the previous events and was becoming unstable after Zero Fusion. Without being controlled by the imagined order or the expertise of the Seven, there was nothing we could do. At some point, even Dr. Sloan made an appearance, interested in what had happened, and like every season before, having the Zero Point out in the open was causing tons of villains to try and take it for themselves. Like Kato Thorne, a time-traveling collector obsessed with history. After he came to the island, an opportunity to go back in time and fix everything appeared. We destroyed Kato, stole his time machine, and used it to rewind back to a simpler time, before the Seven were defeated and things had gotten out of hand. Except, in this alternate timeline we had gone back to, things were different. The end event didn't just reset the island, it reset the Zero Point, shattering the orb into thousands of pieces and basically rebooting the storyline with a single big bang. A new omniverse of realities have been created, all linked with each other, and the Zero Point was no more. Its power had been scattered across the universe in pieces, and one of these had landed in Reality 783, our new home. As it crashed onto the island, it reactivated ancient portals, awakening an entire spirit realm of demons invested in tracking down this power. They were able to take the Zero Shard back to their master, an ultra-powerful king of demons. While he was busy trying to use its power to break into the real world, a family was making things even worse. Gaigo, a magic mask maker, had become obsessed with demons and started experimenting with forbidden magic, causing his sister Jade to become stuck in the spirit realm. In planning a rescue mission, he got his hands on a knife made of Zero Shard splinter blades and used it to break into the spirit realm and rescue her. Except while Daigo and Jade were inside the demon's realm, they realized what was coming. The Dark Presence binded himself with the Zero Shard and was preparing a full-scale invasion of the island to conquer it for the rest of time. Daigo was interested in one thing only, getting the shard for himself. So he used money from a local syndicate boss to reopen a portal and get back to the spirit realm himself. But when he entered, he was immediately corrupted with the demon's power and used as a puppet by the Dark Presence. Because he was mortal, he was able to do all the dirty work that would be dangerous for demons and created enough chaos and corruption around the island to prepare for the invasion. This is where the Dark Presence attempted his first attack, reaching through the portal with a single tentacle, but the heroes of the island were able to hold him off and sever one of his legs. Although this wasn't enough to stop hordes of bugs from arriving, and the takeover was relentless. Eventually, the Dark Presence gained enough strength for a second attack and fully appeared on the island, tearing open the veil between worlds and causing other realities to break through, like Springfield. Hope and Jones tried to stop this from happening, even breaking off a part of the Zero Shard from the demon's chest, but Kang and Kodos disrupted the plans. After a small fight, our heroes were sent through a wormhole that merged Springfield with parts of the island, creating a temporary refuge away from the demons. But Hope wanted to go back as soon as possible to defeat the Demon King. There was just one problem. The Zero Shard that had been broken off was now in the hands of someone unexpected, and that's Homer Simpson. He tried to turn Springfield into his own idea of a paradise, but it ended up being a complete disaster, and the town revolted against him. This forced Homer to hide in the nuclear core of the power plant, making things even worse. A clone army emerged and a gas cloud that rebirthed Homer into a giant. Luckily, he was able to burp out the Zero Shard and give it back to Hope and Jones, but not before he was recruited for the upcoming fight against the the Dark Presence. Now, with the Zero Shard in his hands, Jones could repair his Rift Gun and contact thousands of realities across the Omniverse for help in the fight. It was time for Zero Hour, our last stand against the Demon Master. After getting help from across the universe, all of the characters we've grown to love over the years teamed up Avengers Endgame style, fighting back against the Dark Presence. But even this was not enough. He defeated us all one by one, with the power of the Zero Shard being too much to handle. With a final trick up our sleeves, we summoned the cube from the alternate timeline that had been opened up during the Big Bang event and used its power to weaken the demon. He was still able to hold back until Mecha Team Leader showed up out of nowhere and did this.
Who's piloting that?
With the demons defeated and the Zero Shard free from corruption, the island began to heal and returned all of the allies back to their homes. Now, it was time for a new place for us to call home, and the Zero Shard took us here, Reality 266, an island known as the Golden Coast. But with all of this, it has summoned the attention of a new, even scarier enemy. With a familiar-looking cradle in the sky, we are now being watched by the last reality. They are back with a vengeance, led by a mysterious character known only as the Dark Voyager. In response to this, we have the return of an even more important group. The Seven are back. Right now on the island, if you talk to Hope, she explains how we got here, stating that we left the old island in the hands of the Spirit siblings, and it officially means the demon storyline is wrapped up for good. After the Voyager's cradle destroyed the battle bus, the Zero Point needed to keep the natural protection intact, kicking in its defense mechanisms and creating a wall of water to surf on. That's kind of what happened in Chapter 2. So when I say the loop, you might think it was destroyed when the Imagined Order lost the war in Chapter 3. Well, that was the loop under their control, one that had been manipulated to create Geno's perfect society and force people to battle to the death. Right now, the one on the island is the Zero Point's natural version, which helps hide it from outsiders. It's the reason the storm exists in the first place. During the event, we also got a small documentary recapping the story of the Zero Point and the Seven, and this confirms that we're in a new phase of the storyline that goes back to the old ways with our classic characters. Sadly, most of the Seven are still missing, and the Imagined is confirmed dead after she threw her father Geno into the Zero Point back in Chapter 3. But some members are beginning to re-emerge. You see, in the desert, a meteor has crash landed, the very same one used by the Seven. We can see an open pod proving one of them has shown up, and if you want to know who, there's a mission log on the ground revealing the Order has answered Jones's distress call.
I was scanning the aftermath of the battle for Reality 783 when I picked up a distress signal sent by Agent Jones. It's been a while. He and I have a lot to catch up on. Whatever's going on, odds are the Zero Point is involved. Initial scans show this place has an intense concentration of Zero Point energies.
And she's right. Over in the center of the map, you can find the shard that crashed down onto the island all those years ago. It is only one of the many shards currently hiding on the island, and right now it's being used to power some kind of particle accelerator owned by InnoLoop Labs. Our biggest problem is that someone else has their eyes on it. The Dark Voyager in his cradle had spent the first weeks of the season watching us from a distance, until we repaired the battle bus ourselves. Immediately afterwards, he went into hiding, and this is where things get extra mysterious. Inside of InnoLoop Labs, there's a holo table, and by talking to it, you will get a directive from the Dark Voyager himself. You could either choose to prove yourself to him and join his side, or lie and work as a double agent. Either way, he gives you tasks to prove your loyalty, including interrogating people about the rest of the Zero Point shards. When you do this, you'll hear all kinds of information, like when Hope admits they are a mystery even to us, and Jones is a little less generous with the info, saying, "You think I don't know who you've been talking to? Let's just say, I know a lot more about the shards than you, and it's gonna stay that way." Whether he's bluffing or not, we don't know. Dark Voyager also asks us to hunt down signs of the Seven, which of course is that crash meteor in the desert. But even though he knows all about the Order and her return, she's also investigating him at the very same time and his connection to InnoLoop Labs.
Someone else is making a play for the shards, and I need to find out why. I could really use some help here. For the Seven, we aren't what we used to be. I miss my sister most of all. This tech company's headquarters should contain all the necessary components to execute my plan. Have to be careful though. The place is crawling with thugs working for the Dark Voyager. Based on that ship of his, he's connected to the last reality. But something feels off.
Sadly, us trying to prove our loyalty to the Dark Voyager ends up being useless, as his final directive is to betray us, spawning last reality agents to wipe us out, but we survive the attack. Here's where things get extra mysterious. If you look back at the 0 Hour event, there was a transmission sent by the last reality with cube glyphs. Except for just one frame, this was decoded, giving us strange info like total elapsed time in base reality 8 years and beginning phase 2. It ends with the words executing program. But what fans have been freaking out over is how it mentions the Dark Presence and how they had to decommission it, implying this whole time that he was working for the last reality. Someone even higher has been pulling the strings, and everything we've known up until this very moment was only phase 1. Whether this executor program is Dark Voyager and he's just another puppet to the true leader of the last reality, we have yet to find out. But it wouldn't be the first time they've sent powerful villains to the island. After all, we thought the Cube Queen was the leader until she summoned an even larger cradle to the map. Jones himself thinks this. When you ask him about the Voyager, he'll say, "Be careful. If I'm right, he's a herald of something else, something dangerous." Clearly, the last reality have always been stronger than we could handle. We got lucky with the Cube Queen and the island flip, but when faced with the previous herald, we ultimately lost the battle. Are we even powerful enough to stand up to the Dark Voyager when the time comes? I mean, our current heroes are getting weaker by the day. Hope is actually losing her powers of seeing the future with clouded visions. Lately, when I sleep, I dream of nothing. Thinks it might have something to do with the presence of the shards. Luckily, we've also got Jones helping us figure out what's going on. And when you talk to him, he looks back on the time when the Herald chromed the island, admitting he ran away and lost his chance for vengeance. But he promises that won't happen again. And both him and Hope are now hunting for the rest of the shards before the last reality could get to it. It's just the Dark Voyager is onto us, and the Order seems to experience this danger firsthand.
I've got a lock on one of the pieces I need. Once I'm able to send the signal, then my old friend should... Wait, that looks like a boarding mission. Jones, if you receive this message, I need you to...
It looks like the Voyager has his hands in every slice of this island's pie. He's controlling everything right now, and he might be behind all of the mysterious companies on the island. Over at Classified Canyon, this Area 51 style base is clearly not abandoned. And while we have no idea who owns this, we do know that Human Bill managed to escape while being studied. The ship is still in the depths of this place, seemingly being test piloted, but we have no idea who is interested in aliens and why they built a whole base to investigate them. In fact, if you explore the area, you'll find signs talking about how there's nothing to see here and showing a single large eye, and it is watching. Maybe this base isn't investigating generic aliens, but a specific faction. There have also been theories that with this base being called 7, it could be related to the very same place the Origin was held as a prisoner, with his suit also showing the number 7. Could we actually be looking at an old base built by the Imagined Order? It's all a total mystery right now. What we do know is that the Order isn't the only member of the 7 who will be showing up. Leakers have revealed that weapons belonging to the Foundation are set to return, and if you look at this original teaser for Chapter 7, you can also spot his name being written out by the Bride, confirming he will be showing up. You can even approach Jones as him and get yet another hint of his impending return. But a lot of the storyline's attention is going to be on this place, Innoloop Labs. On the surface, this is a simple tech company that builds transportation around the map, but clearly they are deeply connected to the Dark Voyager. Not only is he hovering over the place as we speak, but they're using the Zero Shard to power their mysterious particle accelerator, and we have no idea what it's being used for outside of the Innoloop tunnels. It's also very interesting that they've used the name Innovation Loop. With how important the actual loop is to the 0 points protection, it's just very possible the main goal of the particle accelerator is to take control of the loop for themselves, and with the storm being tampered with and transformed into shapes, this seriously seems to be the case. The Voyager's holotable, which gave us directives, was located in the Innoloop Labs, and in one of the rooms, you can find paintings all related to the last reality. Not only that, but one of our new characters, Corina, actually hacked into their servers and found a ton of redacted files, including mentions of the 0 point and the 7. There is something deeply shady about these guys, and yet they're not even the ones with the suspicious name. That award belongs to Sus Studios. Yeah, even the movie studio could be involved in this grand conspiracy. I mean, their name alone implies there's something off about them, but it goes even deeper when you look at their movie sets. Most of them are related to the horror movie they're shooting in the desert, but one is this control panel. If you compare it to exactly where the Dark Voyager is standing in the key art, you can see that it's a direct copy of his actual cube cradle panel. Whether he's standing in the movie set here or Sus Studios have somehow recreated his cradle, it implies a direct connection between them. Add that on top of the fact they painted a whole desert to be 0-point theme shows these guys know way more than they let on. Keep an eye on them for sure, because they could be using the movie sets as a front to dig and search for the Zero Shards. And that is the Fortnite Chapter 7 storyline explained so far. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.